Meeting of the Planning Commission open, June 12th, 2023. Let's start with a call to order and pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first on the agenda tonight is approval of minutes. A chance to look at the April 24th Planning Commission minutes. Is there any corrections or additions? I'll approve a motion to approve.
Can I go? I'll make a motion to approve meeting minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor of approving the minutes from the April 24th meeting, let it be known by saying aye or raising your hand.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Very good. All right, any citizen comments for items not on the agenda? Hearing none, we'll move on. And we'll hear from our county planners, and I'm still thinking that maybe the Frederick County planner first, and then we have Hannah from Carroll County, because she can then go right into the triennial update on the county's water and sewer plan.
Good evening.
Evening, Justin.
First off, I have that Steve Horn retired as the division director. Gary Hessong is now the active division director. The Sugarloaf plan, really the overlay, is in 60-day review. South Frederick corridors, the 60-day review has been completed, and the public hearing is set for June 29th. And I also have that the city of Frederick is working on a form-based code. They just released the draft for the East Street plan. It was posted on their website. The first public workshop for the form-based code was on June 6th. It is recorded on their website. And there are additional hearings the 26th of June, and then July 11th and July 24th. That's all I have.
Okay. All right, any comments or feedbacks from Justin? Or Justin?
So do you have any other information on the Gordon Mill plan?
Just that it was approved. There really wasn't anything else with it that I can provide. Everything is on the county website if you want to look at the plan in itself, but everything was given approval for. One of the preliminary plans, I think, was approved, and there's still, I think, another one to go, but, and I think that was just for the townhomes.
Okay.
Chairman?
Yes.
Justin, do you have like a 2-minute elevator speech on just describing what form-based code looks like, feels like?
Yeah, it's an alternative to Euclidean zoning. It's really based on the design and look of the building rather than what it's being used for, but the use is still an important factor, and it's just not the primary use. And it is also how it's managed, which is also like parking regulations. The thing with the form-based code is there's a build-to line versus a setbacks. So the buildings have to be up to a certain line, and that creates a continuous street wall that promotes walkability. There's also usually a parking setback, so the parking is behind what the built-to line is, just to increase the walkability. That it's not parking lots in the front, and it's hidden from the public realm. There are things that you can really get in depth with form-based codes. You can do all sorts of architectural standards and material standards. And it's just a more predictive way to do planning.
Is it fair to say that it's not uncommon with form-based code municipalities that included in that code are examples of acceptable frontal elevations of buildings, facades, type of brick, those kinds of details? Like you said, architectural details are usually consistent with form-based code. Is that accurate?
Yep, and they're baked into the code themselves, so they're not really just guidelines or standards, they're actual, they're backed up through zoning, so they're law.
Thank you.
All right, very good. Any other feedback or questions for Justin? All right. Justin, I'm wondering if you and your department has a projection on growth of this area, this new market area, this kind of the southeast sector of Frederick County that's adjacent to Mount Airy. We've seen a lot of growth in that area, some of the most significant in Frederick County in the past. And of course, that just simply puts more pressure on Mount Airy and the proximity of that additional growth. Is there any way for you to estimate what that might look like over the next several years?
Yeah, most of the growth in Frederick County is based on really the surrounding area around Frederick City and the 270 corridor. Most of there was a, in our master plan, there was a thematic diagram. And really every municipality, it's really their municipal growth boundaries, the thing where the county growth is. So it's whether, municipalities are going to accept more growth and annexations, but most of the growth is, in the foreseeable future, is going to be in areas that are going to be able to densify along the corridors and outside the city.
Okay, all right, very good.
On Bill's question there, is there any way you can guess, next time you come, bring us what New Market's growth area boundary is?
Okay, yeah.
Copy of that.
Yes, and maybe include the Linganore area as well in that.
Yep.
I don't think Linganore is a town, so, I mean, but,
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
because I know that you had spoken about another development back there that was in the works, were you not?
Yeah,
That Lake Linganore area?
yeah, the big development over there was the Gordon Mill development.
Okay, that's what, yeah.
But yeah, I can definitely bring in more. We do have a pipeline on our website as well, so it kind of shows you what the existing numbers are. And I actually was working on cleaning up some of the census data as well, so you can kind of see what the changes are on our website as well of what is existing and some of the projects that are coming up. But I can definitely bring some of the other documents from the master plan. I think I did bring some of that 2 times, maybe. I don't know what meeting I brought it to, but I can definitely
Okay,
provide information on that area.
good.
If you could maybe use a thumb drive and put up some colored images and things like that and bring them for John, or we could put it on the board over here.
Okay, yeah.
That way it educates everybody that's here, not just a handout.
Exactly,
And for folks
yeah.
that are looking at home, maybe they could also see the screen and just kind of get an understanding what's going on,
Okay.
if that's possible.
All right, excellent. Thanks, Justin.
Thank you, man.
Okay. Anna, Carroll County's turn.
All right, triennial update.
Good evening, everybody. I'll start with my updates and then we'll go into the triennial update. So first, our director as well is leaving. Linda Eisenberg is leaving the Carroll County Department of Planning. Yeah, she has taken a position with Howard County. So losing a real asset in the planning department in Carroll County, but Chris Hine will be the acting director. He is currently the director of Land and Resource Management. So we will be in good hands, but definitely losing a big asset.
She's been there a long time.
I think it was 10 years, yeah. But Besides that, the annual report, as you guys prepared all of the information from the town of Mount Airy, that was introduced to the Planning Commission this past June meeting last week, and it will be discussed again at their business meeting on June 20th, I believe, and that will be further certification and sending that back to the Maryland Department of Planning. That was just all the information that the towns give, and then the county compiles it into one big annual report, just going over development projects, annexations, resolutions, rezonings, and all of that kind of information. So that's it for those updates, but obviously the triennial update is next on your agenda. I wasn't too integral on the water and sewer process with the triennial update, but basically I relate it to kind of the annual report, except you're just doing water and sewer. So all of the map amendments that have occurred in the past 3 years, the triennial updates updated every 3 years. So all of the map amendments that have gone through, so we go through a fall amendment and then a spring amendment to the water and sewer master plan. So the triennial update is just kind of taking all of those individual amendments and putting them into one big master plan. So all of the updates for the triennial update were given to the county by town staff, and then we seek their planning commission certification, and we put that certification letter into the water and sewer master plan, just showing that all of the information that's in the water and sewer master plan was agreed upon by the town and county's information, and then that is what we go off of until there's a new amendment or a new triennial update.
And how often do you have an update?
Well, the amendments are strictly up to the town. The town comes to the county and says, so say annexation just went through and it's in like the long range and they want to develop it, they would need to process an amendment to bring that property into the priority or existing sewer or water categories. And those amendments happen every fall and spring, but those are just strictly based on what the town is requesting. And then the triennial update, like I said, just kind of brings all of those amendments together into one plan, so it's consistent.
Okay.
And just kind of all in one place.
All right.
And it includes all the municipalities, not, yeah.
I was going to say, there are map amendments that are part of this triennial update. Like, prime example is the Buffalo Road annexation, which was in long range, is now in priority, along with the Beck property. That was a mismatch of priority, long range, and existing, and now that's all in priority.
Okay.
Chairman?
Yes.
So Hanno, I know that the chairman's signature on this basically signifies that the amendments are consistent with our 2013 master plan. That's
Yeah.
the wording of the
Yeah,
document.
so we won't change anything after it's signed off by your planning commission.
Gotcha.
We send it off, I guess if we do send it off to the state for official approval, and it's not officially approved until the state approves it. So if for some reason they come back and it's like, no, this is not right, then we would bring it back to you all so you're aware of the changes that would need to be made, but they rarely come down and do that.
And as it works its way through the county, I think you have a public hearing set for
Yep.
June 15th, a few days.
Yeah, on Thursday.
Correct.
Yep.
And so with clarity on the certification and what it means for us to sign off on this, is it fair to say that we're also agreeing to the accuracy of the draft
Yes,
master plan?
yeah.
So would it be appropriate to talk to you about some questions about some of the entries in that master plan with you, or
In the master plan or to these chapters?
to the chapters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I know Barney and John were very integral in getting this information to us, so I might direct your questions to them.
Okay.
Because they provided this information to us.
Gotcha.
And then we just compile it.
Well, let me just hit a couple
Yeah.
of things and, just kind of get a clear understanding as to what they're saying and if there's any question as to their accuracy. And I'll be disarming here. Maybe it's just me. So on the page 58, under water, there is a needs analysis paragraph. And in the paragraph that begins with recently the town worked with Carroll County, that particular paragraph, Hannah, there's a mention, about 4 lines down. The appropriation is pending annexation of the property into the town's corporate boundaries. It's referring to the Harrison LaShear property. And so my question is, that wording gives the reader a sense that that annexation action by the town is in motion, is pending. And I'm not sure as to that being accurate.
By that, what it means is that property is in the town's growth area boundary, which ultimately means the town is seeking to annex that property.
Okay.
It doesn't mean it's happening in the next couple years, doesn't mean it's ever happening, but because the town has designated that property in the growth area,
Okay.
that is a property they're seeking to one day be in the town. In the growth area boundary, yeah, that, it goes through the master plan and all
And that
of
would be in the future growth area, 7 to 10 years, or priority?
It's actually in the, it's in the future, Harrison LaShear's future, 7 to
Future.
10 years out.
Okay,
But if you look at the map on the Dobbs property, that's in the long-range plan. So
Gotcha.
all the parcels, even the South Main
the
annexation.
ones that are hashed?
Are
Yeah.
part of that ultimate growth boundary, which
I
is
gotcha.
how those numbers. come
Okay.
out.
So pending annexation shouldn't be taken as near term?
Yeah, no.
Okay, I gotcha,
Okay, it's within the growth boundary.
gotcha.
Okay.
And then on the following page, page 59, it talks about long-term recommendations.
You're still on water?
Still on water, thank you, yeah. It talks about, and maybe it's the same answer for this, it talks about the Gillis Falls Reservoir being harnessed in both surface water runoff and also reservoir capacity for future water needs and resources. And so, again, we're putting that in the category of it could be a source. Is that fair?
I would defer to John.
Yeah, I mean, the county still owns a majority of land over there, not to say that that reservoir would not come into play at some point, but, I mean, I would defer to actually Chris Hines, because ultimately he's the one that would be in charge of that. But I mean, I think
But I guess,
it's on the books for many years.
yeah, and I'm not trying to do a gotcha here on anybody. I'm just trying to get clarity. The intent of
Yeah.
these words are to say they're possibilities.
Yeah.
7 to 10 years out. Is that? Gotcha. Yes, Marty. Okay. So that's helpful for me.
We didn't want to believe it. It is a possibility. It was big back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
But it kind of died out, but it hasn't been eliminated.
I'm with you. And my last point, I promise, is going back to page 56, just above table 9 alpha, 9A. The wording is, considering existing pipeline projects, the town's water system is beyond 80% capacity, but not exceeding 88% of its appropriations from the state, and is therefore, in accordance with town code, approaching inadequate capacity. And so that resonates with any APFO analysis that we have to, is that fair?
Yes.
Right? It has to do with us being careful as to adding on any more projects or developments because how close we are to that 88 threshold. Is that fair, Barney? Gotcha. And so that's a good set of words in there to kind of say, don't grow too fast without understanding your water resources are limited. Is that fair? Gotcha.
Barney, in general, are you satisfied and comfortable with this first part, the water service area of it? You are, okay. You feel that it fairly presents our position and our limitations and?
Yes, Councilman, I went through it. I think it's very good.
All right, excellent, okay.
Mr. Chair.
I apologize. I just had one more alibi. I do apologize. And then over to Steve. So table 15 deals with water.
It's not in there, Hannah.
Oops.
I do have a few extra copies if anybody wants one.
And again, this table is in three separate categories. What we currently provide or have as water capacity, what we look to in a priority timeframe, which is the 0 to 6 years, and then while we look beyond 6 years in a 7 to 10-year timeframe, which is labeled future period. And so I noticed that for the town of Mount Airy, we have 9,691 current residential service connections. I think, is that what we're to read here? Population, okay. And then as we move over to that next 0 to 6, which is the priority period, that goes up 197 people in the next 6 years. And then when we move into the 7 to 10 years, there's no change. And so I'm guessing that that data is either a building permit trend that we're reflecting here, or a connection trend that, in other words, it just seems surprising that between now and the next 10 years, we basically talk to only 197 additional residents. And is that a fair picture here, or have I got something wrong?
I don't know where those numbers came from.
Go ahead, Barney, if you want to come up to the mic. I mean, again, I
You
think,
first.
I mean, it depends on a lot of things, you know, we don't know for sure.
Okay.
Where the population's gonna be.
Tomatoes.
If it happens, it'll be very different than if it doesn't happen.
Right, right.
So, it's hard to say.
And we got Green Tree in motion, we've got Dennis Court, Chevrolet Court, whatever, the Dennis thing.
Green Tree's about 178 people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's what we know is
Five.
down the road. But if something like Beck were to occur, we'd have to adjust this. Is that fair?
Well, it's updated every 3 years. So if you see a drastic change in the next 3 years, it's not something that I would see you need to do you would do an amendment, and then it would be reflected in these tables.
Right.
So, and then if you wouldn't do an amendment, then you would update it with the next triennial update.
Right, you just grab it in the next one.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's fair.
Yeah, it's nice with water and sewer because you have so many opportunities to update. You have one in the fall, you have one in the spring every year, and then on top of that, you update it every 3 years, just in its essence.
Beautiful. Yeah, good education for me. Thanks. Thanks for indulging
Before
me.
we get into the sewer report,
Yes. So back looking at the tables with the well numbers and the appropriations on 56, it's talking about our wells and the average usage. But when I was looking through this, there's nothing about any of the wells being offline. Is that appropriate to be in here or for the averages?
Barney, you want to come up to the mic? I don't know the answer to that
Sorry,
question.
Barney.
Glad you came.
Yeah.
stay up here, Barney.
So there's nothing forcing us to have those offline. It was a recommendation by MDE that we keep them offline. We agreed that we would keep them offline for as long as we can. As we get into the summer months, we may need to use them. In fact, we've used them a couple times for short times. So they are still appropriated. Nothing's been taken away. Once the EPA rules, that the proposed rule goes into effect, which is supposed to be by December, that will trigger what we need to upgrade, and we'll be given 2 to 3 years to do those upgrades. So we will still be able to use those wells during those times. So those appropriations haven't been eliminated.
Okay.
We're just voluntarily keeping them offline.
Okay, yeah, that helps, because I think I just need a clarification on that, because if it's reflecting that they're all operational and we hear they're offline, so that could be a big change.
Yep.
So, okay, thank you.
Good.
And,
Are we ready for Hannah to move to the sewer plan?
the last thing I just want to, is it appropriate, or from reading through this, is that the town is putting a lot of weight on any future growth being involved with the Harris and LaShire property wells? Is that appropriate? Because that's what I'm reading in most of this. is that we're kind of relying on that. Is that correct?
As if we need it.
'Cause
Grow
that's
it
what
all.
it looks like it's reading as.
Yeah.
Any new development would have to be providing their fair share of water. So if the Beck property comes in, they have to provide wells to support their growth, unless there's designated water within that category. I don't think any of our growth is contingent on getting wells from Harrison LaShire. I mean, sure, if we had water from there, that would add to our possible appropriation, but we also have capacities at our sewer treatment plant that we can only get to a certain amount. So
Right.
we might have a whole bunch of water, but we can't process that water. So all those things play into the approval.
Thank you.
It's just simply within the growth boundary at this point.
Correct.
Okay? All right, let's move on to the sewer report.
Yeah, so it's basically just the same thing with water. Any sewer amendments that were done in the past 3 years are updated in these numbers and maps and stuff. And like, we just compile it all into one plan, just to use for the next 3 years and to update going forward.
Chairman, just one question on sir.
Yep.
So Barney, on the I&I efforts to mitigate that within the sewerage, I know there was a big push surge in town funding in 2022 on lining pipes and trying to get the I&I down. Have we got anything going on past that surge in 2022 that we're looking to continue that mitigation? Infiltration, I'm talking about.
Sure. All the I&I efforts that we did in 2022 was a great change. We started graphing it, but we were waiting to get through a full year to, provide some graphs as far as like to show the differences. But I think you'll see that there's a significant drop in that. So we don't have where we were tripling our flows at the waste treatment plant. There was a very significant amount of water that was going there.
Right.
So,
But as far as pipelining projects and all that, we don't have any of that, no pun intended, in the pipeline, in the budget, or any of that continued effort?
we hit all the worst areas is what that whole project was about. We were doing like 70, 80,000 a year cost-wise, and it was just like slow amounts. But with ARPA, we were able to, look at it as much broader view of it, and then we were able to tackle it pretty hard.
Last question, is it fair to say that the I&I effort is probably the most significant effort of the town to try to slow down us approaching capacity of the wastewater treatment plant?
It was, no, not necessarily. It was a significant thing that we had to get a handle of. But that's not really our sanitary flows that are coming to the plant. It's just rainwater getting into the pipes that shouldn't be there. So I think we've got it down to what's more of an acceptable limit. And now just moving forward is looking at how much little bit of capacity we have left.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions or feedback for Barney?
It talks about Harrison LaShire again in here. So, development potential in the near future. Are there any other places that I don't remember.
So Harrison LaShire would be a good well source because we know what the capacity is. We know what we can get out of those wells.
The work's already been done.
The work is there. It's already a knowledgeable thing. Drilling for wells, we can drill for wells other places. That's not like our only source that we could go to. We did it when we found well 11 back, a decade ago down on South Main Street. I'm sure we could do it again.
And it wouldn't be, I can't remember one time, I feel like we had a conversation a while ago about it would not be difficult to tap into the water there for us. We would just go under the road.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think long-term cost of everything.
Yeah, Water Station 2, when we did the overhaul Water Station 2, completely replace that station. We actually made provisions for those to tie in.
Oh, good.
Again, not that they have to, but it's ready for it if we decided to.
I was amazed to read in this sewer facility report, the Mount Airy Sewage Treatment Plant produces over 1,300 wet tons of sludge per year. It's held in a 300,000 gallon aerobic digester. It's then pumped to a belt filter press. The sludge is then dewatered and lime stabilized. Is that
A lot.
Is that capacity and that need been growing over time, or have we been at that level for a good while?
I think the last one might have said 1,100 tons, so it's been creeping up.
Okay. All right. Any other feedback or questions for Barney?
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Barney. Yes, so yeah, we have a public hearing with the Board of County Commissioners this Thursday, and then we keep the record open for 10 days for any citizen or municipal comment. And then after that record is closed, the Board of County Commissioners adopts it preemptively, waiting on official approval from MDE. And then once they take their time and review it, then it's officially approved, if nothing pops up.
All right. Based upon what we've heard, the feedback, the updates, how comfortable are you with this triennial report?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Good, 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 good.
I think we need a motion.
Probably.
Yeah.
You should make a motion and then,
All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the triennial report on the county water and sewer master plan.
Chairman, I'll make a motion that the chairperson of the Mount Airy Planning Commission sign off as it, on the county water and sewer master plan as it pertains to the town of Mount Airy 2013 comprehensive master plan that is consistent with that 2013 plan.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we sign off on this triennial update for the Carroll County Water and Sewer Master Plan for Mount Airy. We can, but
already voted on
we're about to, we're in the middle of a vote now.
I'm just asking for procedure if there's an opportunity for me to offer a comment. If not, fine, just let me know.
Okay, well, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign? All right, it's approved.
Bill, can you, do you want him to sign off on it right now, so you can take it back with you?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
If you can sign off on it, then she'll take it with her.
All right. All right, and this is the 15th.
Do you want a copy? Oh, you just have it. You
Done too?
can give that one to Hannah.
We'll keep that one.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right, requests for extensions.
Let's go ahead and get Ron up to the table, right?
Mr. Thompson.
So this is a request for extension for site plan approved, S 19-0032. This is for Twin Arch Business Park, lot 17. Again, this is an industrially zoned property. This is beside currently J&J Trash. They've taken ownership of it. They're asking to maintain the approved site plan and building that was approved on that parcel for an extension for 1 year. And the staff is recommending that the planning commission support the applicant's request to extend the approved site plan expiration for Twin Arts Business Park Lot 17, file number S19-0032, from August 7, 2023 to August 7, 2024. In addition to the site plan extension, staff recommends that the extension of the water and sewer allocation permit to August 7th, 2024. Ron is here to represent the applicant.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron Thompson, Van Mar Associates. All of the site work has been completed, so, and you'll hear that on Lot 19, so that we can work towards trying to finalize Twin Arch Business Park. But they just have been unable to get a grasp on the material costs and be able to design a building that can be cost-effective. People have looked at everything, and you'll hear this, the next one, from stick-built wood to steel. And they're just trying to wait out, particularly the interest rates right now, for a turn down so they can move forward with building programs.
Well, it's not unusual for us to see a request for an extension and to grant it. That's happened frequently in the history of in the last 10, 15 years for our council.
I have been diligent trying to get this off my plate by asking them, let's build. Where's your status on it?
They don't
There.
want to.
Pardon?
They don't want to, they just want to.
Well, no, it's not that they don't want to. Both this and on Lot 19, they want to. It's just that getting something pulled together that they can get building permits and yet fit within the constraints of the interest rates today and cost of materials has stymied them somewhat. So that's why on both of the projects, I've pushed them and they have done that. We've been able to complete all of the site work, the grading, stormwater management for some gravel pads, so that it's just a matter of coming in and putting in the building pad and erecting the building.
And in my experience, we've never issued an extension for longer than a year.
I think the code does not allow you more than a year.
That's correct.
All right? Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Has either of these properties already had an extension?
Yes, the site plan S19 would have expired. So I guess that would have expired 2 years afterwards, right? The initial site plan.
Lot 17, this is the first extension. Lot 19, when you get to it, there has been previous extensions.
How many?
This is the first extension of this parcel.
For lot 19
We're just talking about 17,
or on 17?
about Backacre Circle.
Right now, I think you're
We are
looking
talking
for a
about
motion
19.
on.
My bad. I don't know why I got those.
We're on 19.
I'm sorry.
We're on 19.
On lot 19, I believe this is the second extension.
Yes. Yeah, because we're at about 4 years now, so, okay.
Barney, do you have any concern about the second extension for 19? I do not. Okay.
Is there anything really preventing us from extending it?
No?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No?
They just really want to wait.
They don't want to wait. It's that financially,
Yeah, no.
they're being forced to wait, is what it is. I mean, they don't want to fall out of the cycle, have to restart the entire process over again and all the regulatory. So that's why they did the site work and everything that allows the county now to allow us to convert that big sediment basin in the back into a sand filter. So they're trying.
Yeah.
And they've been working with architects trying to get a design that they can build.
Do you see any big changes coming, or
No,
it's gonna stay
no.
exactly the same?
Yeah.
No surprises? Okay,
They can't increase the building footprint, any of that, otherwise they're back here
right.
for those changes.
All right. Any other questions or feedback? All right. I'll entertain a motion for approval of the request for an extension to Lot 19 to begin with. Is there a motion?
Chairman, I'll make a motion. As it pertains to the Twin Arch Business Park, Lot 19, Service Master Restoration, the motion is for a one-year extension of the current site plan to the date of June 30th, 2024, and in addition, an extension of the water and sewer allocation permit to June 30th, 2024.
I'll second.
All right. It's been moved and seconded to grant the one-year extension to Twin Arch Business Park, Lot 19. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye or raising your right.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
It passes. Right. Then let's go to 17.
Okay, so this is Twin Arch Business Park, Lot 17,
Yes.
S19-0032, which of course I had messed up there. This is an industrial lot. This was the original site plan for
King Sports.
thank you, Ron, King Sports LLC. They then subsequently moved to Lot 15, then they sold this lot to J&J Trash. So this would be the first time that J&J Trash has come for an extension on this site plan. And again, I'm recommending that the approval of the site plan for Lot 17, S190032, and the subsequently extension of the water and sewer allocation permit.
Okay. Any questions or feedback for Van Moore?
Same situation?
All right. Is there a motion to accept the request for an extension?
Mr. Chairman, I have a motion. The motion is for the Twin Arch Business Park, Lot 17, for J&J Trash, the commission granting a one-year extension of the current site plan to a new date of August 7, 2024, and to also extend the water and sewer allocation permit to August 7, 2024.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor of the motion to approve the request for Lot 17, let it be known by saying aye.
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 All opposed? All right, and it passes.
Thank you.
Okay.
If anybody in the audience wants a copy of this action plan that we're going to discuss next, I have extra copies. There's just no room on the table out there to put it out there, so let me know.
If you've reviewed the 2023 draft comprehensive master plan implementation status, this was a format that we adopted and used in conjunction with our 2013 master plan. And it helped to coordinate the efforts and the focus of all the commissions along with the Planning Commission. And we were able to accomplish it because it was a team effort, okay? We did it a chapter at a time, but they came back and gave us their priorities, right? And you see those in the actual 2013 master plan document, right? So this shows you the commissions and the groups, and it's useful in that regard. Okay? Now, it's a bit alarming when we look then at the schematic of a time frame of this, that it would look like it got underway early in 2021, so that it would take about the same time frame, and that's not feasible at this point. Right? So the question becomes, is there an effective way to approach this and get it done correctly and fully and properly with as much focus and coordination as we can in a more limited time frame, okay? And I think the way to do that is to reach out to all the commissions and ask them to take a look at what they had in their appropriate chapters for the 2013 master plan and see, given where we are now, and as they look ahead in terms of those factors, and what changes would they like to see in terms of the priorities in the 2023 version of those chapters? We might go so far as to actually ask each of our Planning Commission members to decide and take on the responsibility of coordination and outreach, communication with each of the commissions, okay, as another way to try to coordinate this and get as much done as quickly as we can, but fully so they are involved, they're part of the process, it's a cooperative teamwork going forward. All right? Anybody have additional ideas or thoughts in how we can focus this as creatively and as effectively as possible to get done what we need to do in terms of looking ahead and getting the involvement and the cooperation of the other commissions at the same time? All right. John?
Well, I do want to mention, again, this was sent out to them once before. I did get some feedback, especially from EDC, a little bit from Streets and Roads, and a little bit from Park and Recs, or Rec and Parks. The action plan itself has not been completely updated with some of their comments. But so I think moving forward is to update this and then also send it back out for a re-review. And then even after they've had it for a month or two, then try to schedule that joint commission meeting that we typically used to have. COVID sort of, threw a loop, but didn't have that where the chairperson of each of those different commissions comes.
Yeah.
And we have an overall workshop with those commission members plus the planning commission to sort of bring it all to the surface.
That would further coordinate it.
Yeah, I think that would be our best and quickest
Right.
alternative. Hopefully getting it to them and giving them, a month or two to sort of digest it and regurgitate it. And then hopefully maybe August or something, set a hearing or set up for that joint commission meeting would be my suggestion.
Okay. Any other feedback on that?
Sounds great.
Yeah.
I asked the mayor to be here tonight. Mayor, do you have any thoughts and a reaction to this approach?
Thank you. Yeah, I certainly remember in 2013 having this set up. I think that we met more one-on-one, though, to go through the chapters. So I agree with a joint meeting being a great idea, but it may be that, staff may have to actually just reach out to a chairman of Streets and Roads and get something down on paper, or Parks and Rec, or any of the other commissions. So I would be cautious about relying on one big joint meeting, because
That's true.
I suspect it'll get a little bit jumbled. So, John, I would recommend that you reach out to commission chairs, get something down on paper from them, so that when we do have a joint meeting, that it would be more productive because something would already be on there. But it's going to take some one-on-one
Sure.
to get this done, and it's probably going to take more of a staff effort feeding information to y'all. But I greatly appreciate you guys including this on the agenda and making sure that we get moving in a positive direction. So I can sit down with you, John, talk about things, and and hopefully get some stuff going from the staff side.
All right,
But
good,
thank you all.
Thank you.
good.
Chairman, if I could just add? Yeah, and one of the things I think we can talk about too is, I know we've thought in terms of having a total draft completed in submission to the council for their review, and I think perhaps rethink that or consider rethinking that as a chapter-by-chapter submission. So that as we say, we work on chapter 6, which is transportation, and we bring in the liaison and the cooperation of streets and roads, we nail down that chapter, we get it as best we can, and then it goes to the council for their review as our first draft. And then the subsequent chapters, Parks and Rec, we do the same thing. And so any of us can then stand before the full council and talk to good coordination across all the other commissions and committees with regard to what we have in there as the changes compared to 2013. And so, I mean, I kind of think we have that obligation to be able to stand together and explain why are we saying this now for 2023 versus what it says back in 2013. I think that's fair. So chapter by chapter may be a good way to go as then a consequence of doing these iterative coordination sessions.
Faster, you mean?
Yeah, I was wondering, there may be, my name's Charlie
Take
Mansfield,
your name and your address, if you would.
and I live on the 21771 zip code. And I know that there's a lot of citizens who would,
Sir, your name as well.
what's that?
It's your name as well?
Charlie Mansfield?
Okay, I didn't hear you say
Yeah,
that.
I said that first.
Sorry.
So I know a lot of citizens would be very interested in reviewing and making comments to the master plan. And I think there would be a lot of, valuable input that could be provided. And I was wondering if there's any opportunity as you're coming up with the process to involve citizens.
Absolutely, we can.
I believe there's a public hearing.
Yeah. Yeah, there will be a public hearing.
Yeah, once we get an initial draft done, then there'll be a public hearing to get citizens' comments. And then potentially some of those changes might go into a draft that will come back to the planning commission or go to the town council.
Yeah, that would be good. Just wondering, as you're, developing the master plan, that even outside of the, the public meeting, there could be a way of citizen providing input.
Okay.
It's just an idea, because I think there's a lot of people who have ideas and they're ready to, support this effort. And it could be a place where you can get some good insights.
I would suggest if you have comments or directions that you maybe draft up a document that we can give to the planning
Yeah.
commission for their review.
Sure.
If
Yeah,
that's what
something
you're
as
asking
simple as
for.
that, yeah.
If that's what you're asking for, that's what I would suggest.
Yeah, okay. And would that go to you, or how do
It
we,
would go
how
to
do we
me,
communicate?
it would go to me, and then I would forward it to them.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
And we have a
Good.
copy, if you need a copy of it, let me know. We might be able to get you a copy.
All right. Yeah, it'd be nice to get an electronic copy.
It's
so we
on our website.
can- Okay, very good.
Yep.
Thanks for your feedback, sir.
Hannah?
Hannah Weber, Carroll County Department of Planning. I would just give a friendly reminder that we are going to be doing the maps for you all. We're already working with John on getting those updates, but I would just, friendly reminder to allow us enough time to get those updates before you have any official meeting dates with anyone. We have one GIS analyst at the county, and she is very, very busy with things. So just wanted to throw that out there, that just allow as much time as you can for us to get what you need. And obviously, we're very happy to help you all. We helped you in 2013 and before then, so we want to keep that going, but just tit for tat, you know?
John, handle that coordination if you would.
Yeah, I've already presented them with a written draft of all the changes to all the different maps. And I would hope we'd see something within 3 to 4 months, maybe.
Yeah, definitely a couple months.
Yeah.
So as you go through these meetings, we might not have the maps ready, the updated maps ready for you all. But if it's absolutely necessary, like streets and roads, it might be pertinent to have an updated map. Just allow us enough time to get those maps to you all without, hey, by the way, we're having this meeting next week, kind of thing.
We'll try to give you some advance notice.
Yes.
Yeah, and just kind of as a Captain Obvious statement, when we talked earlier about water and sewer, particularly water expansion or future years, those areas shown on that particular map have to coincide and match with our future annexation maps.
Correct.
So we got a handshake on other documents coming out of the county to make sure that we're all consistent with the future boundaries of the town. So, thank you.
That's the joy of GIS, because it actually,
Yeah.
It's just like you have a base map that has the changes, and then they're globally done.
All right.
Just wanted to add that. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Adam. Okay, we ready to move into ordinance 2023-8? I want to mention again how productive I thought that that session was that we had with Council Member DeMotor. Very, very productive, I thought. Okay, comments, questions? Feedback on this ordinance?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Just a quick comment as to possible rewording, seeking my other commissioners' sense of edited paragraph Bowlegs 3, subparagraph Bowlegs Charlie, 3C, the paragraph that begins with whether the proposed development optimizes, if you're on that paragraph. And so, as mentioned by the chairman in good discussions with Councilmember DeMotor on collapsing a lot of the initial guidelines into a very comprehensive paragraph, that's what this paragraph provides us. And my only wonder is 5 lines down, it talks about whether the proposed open space proposes a critical town need or shortage. And my thinking is that the thrust of that is really to say whether the proposed open space satisfies. Is that consistent, Councilman DeMotor?
I believe that would be a good change.
Oh, okay.
I'm not proposing, we're saying, look to see if
Is it meeting a need?
satisfying.
Satisfies. Okay. And again, to my other council member, I just offer that as a quick edit. Everything else looks great. Thank you.
Just one suggestion on top of Ralph's, and I agree, probably should say satisfies a critical need. I'm wondering if it shouldn't, however, then say or proposes a shortage. Because satisfies, a shortage by its very nature does not satisfy anything. So
Okay.
I'm wondering if it shouldn't say whether the proposed open space satisfies a critical town need or proposes a shortage.
Oh, I see.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Councilman DeMotor, how do you feel about that?
Can you please come to the table so people can hear you out in the audience?
I concur.
You should probably just stay.
You just sit there.
Exactly.
Just have a seat.
We might need you again.
Any other feedback on this, Councilman DeMotor?
So we just need to make a motion.
Yep. If you're satisfied with it, we can go forward with a motion. Yes?
Can we make a comment?
Sure.
Ron Thompson, Vanmar Associates. I'd like to provide some comments regarding this proposed ordinance. When a developer or property owner evaluates whether they invest in a proposed development plan for property, they evaluate whether to proceed with this development or investment based on existing development regulations. They are then able to determine their risks and costs for developing and then can decide as to whether to move forward or to not move forward with a development investment. Chapter 25G2 of the Town Code states the Planning Commission may waive strict application of the park and open space adequacy standard, provided that each development project that is granted a waiver under this subsection provides at least 3 acres of park and open space per 100 persons, or a pro rata portion thereof, of projected population from residents in the proposed development project, with the following exceptions, which they list in their various things from downtown to MXD. In plain speak, if the development project provides the appropriate open space as required, they should be provided with the waiver from the town being an open space deficit. This is something the development team can plan for and provide through the development process. The waiver does not mean the site can provide less open space than is required, but has provided the waiver because of the town deficit. Tens of thousands of dollars are expended by the developer or owner getting to a concept plan that can be presented to the Planning Commission for their approval. This involves layout, stormwater management design, which now you take to 75–80% design, not concept, grading, and other design elements. The proposed ordinance change states that when you have completed everything per the code and are in front of the Planning Commission, the Planning Commission then can apply a discretionary evaluation as to whether the open space should be modified beyond the current requirements in the Chapter 25. Trying to impose on the Planning Commission that they create justifications for the waiver beyond the current requirement that the site provides the required open space creates uncertainty in the approval process and places an unfair and unreasonable burden on developers and owners. I would urge the Planning Commission to return Ordinance 23-08 to the Town Council with an unfavorable recommendation. Thank you.
In addition, I did give you guys that additional comment we got from an outside citizen that I also emailed
Yes.
to you.
Okay. Any other feedback from Councilman DeBoer? Are you ready to make a motion and approve whether we accept these changes? 2018?
If I may, just a quick comment.
Yes.
And that is just a reminder, and I think I articulated this at the council meeting and also with you at the workshop, and that is just that, again, we're not imposing any requirements. These are not new requirements. The current requirement is that for an MXD property, speaking just about MXD as an example, if you provide 10% of the total gross acreage, then that project qualifies. And that's the important point. It qualifies for consideration of a waiver. It gets you in the door. It doesn't mean that you can't look at other considerations in your deliberation on whether or not you should grant a waiver. And that's really what these guidelines are doing. They're giving you a set of considerations to help you walk through your process of, well, if they're proposing 10%, maybe they're proposing 12%, 13%. Are they worthy of a waiver, given these other considerations, the magnitude of the current open space deficit the town has, the quality of the open space that's being provided, et cetera. So that's really what this is doing. And I want to emphasize, and that's the way why we wrote them the way we did, and I appreciate all the work you did on this to consolidate it even more. These are guidelines, not requirements. We're not changing the process. I believe that these guidelines help the citizens, the town, and a developer, because now a developer has a even greater understanding of the types of considerations that are going to be looked at, and this helps them better understand what to put in their waiver package. So, if I'm a developer, I want to address all the considerations I think people are going to be looking at. And it's the same for the citizens. We're giving the citizens an idea of what's going to be looked at in the process of granting a waiver, should it be granted. So everybody understands kind of the key requirement and then some of the considerations that will be involved in making that decision. So that's, to me, why these are helpful to everyone. That's my comment. Thank you.
All right, good points, good points.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion.
Yes,
I'd like to make a motion, make a favorable recommendation on ordinance 2023-8 to the town council, including the changes that we made tonight.
I'll second.
all right. Motion has been made and seconded to, including the changes we made tonight, to make a favorable recommendation to the council for 2023-8. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
It passes. Thanks again for the coordinated effort on this. Good teamwork. All right. What do we have left here? Council liaison report?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had a stacked agenda on June 5th, this previous Monday. Corporal Ginevra was promoted to lieutenant and named acting chief of the Mount Airy Police Department. We approved the road closure on August 12th between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. for the Mount Airy Mile. Please run out and support them, because they're doing good things with that. We released a bond for Brittany Manor. We awarded the architectural bid for phase 1 of the Flatiron Building Concept Plan to Brennan and Company. The skate park at Watkins Park, phase 1 is now open. Rails and Trails West is paved but not open. We approved 14 budget amendments for some accounting and housekeeping. And then you guys will be seeing 2 new ordinances that were introduced, 2023-30 and 2023-32. And that concludes town council report.
Okay, all right. Any comments or feedback?
Do you have any information on the ordinances that are coming this way?
I don't have a lot of information on them. There wasn't a lot of discussion on them. It's only been a week, but we have the one which is going to change the MXD from 10% to 3 acres per 100 residents. And then the other one is changing the priority, the townhouses from 7 units to 5 dwellings per row, and then the setbacks as well.
Thank you, Jason.
Is that right?
Okay. All right, thanks for that report, Councilor Evans. Okay. Zoning Administrator report for April and May. Any comments on these? No questions? All right. I'll accept a motion to approve zoning administrator reports for April and May.
I'll motion to approve the zoning
All right.
administrator reports.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the zoning administrator reports for April and May 2023. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? All right, and they are approved. Very good. Okay. Anything else tonight?
I would like to also mention, I didn't put on the master plan workshop for July the 6th. I wanted to make sure everybody was going to be in town. And if it isn't the 6th, what date would work best for everybody. I am on vacation the second week of July, so I would not be here between the 7th through the 15th. We could do the 6th if we have enough people available for that work session.
I'm okay for the 6th.
I'm good.
Ralph?
I'm good.
No?
I'm not good.
Okay. And we don't know about,
We'll send
don't
them
know
an
about
email
Kim.
tomorrow just to see if that's something that'll work out. If not,
Okay, all
I'll
right.
let you guys know on a different
Yep.
date.
Yeah, let's try to give as much advance notice as possible.
Yep. We could possibly do it on the 20th of July, if that works for everybody. Might be a better date.
Okay. All right.
It is the holiday week of July 4th, so that's why I didn't want to put it on there.
Anything else this evening?
Yeah,
Next meeting on the 31st? All right. And also be thinking about, commission members, in terms of you being a liaison with a particular commission, what your preferences might be in that regard.
I think the mayor was suggesting that I'd be the person reaching out to them individually, is what he was sort of suggesting.
Okay. All right. Very good. Okay.
Appreciate you volunteering already.
All right. Then I think we're ready. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded to adjourn this meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting's adjourned.